Welcome into another edition of the Holton Naylor Show. Pirates win on Saturday. That's huge. We got ECU Hall of Fame quarterback Jeff Blake, the GOAT of East Carolina football. Caden, he's joining us on the other side of the break. Hope you enjoy the show. If not, as always.
Holton Naylor turns, and Holton will take off and run himself. He's at the 40-yard line. Holton Naylor's to the 30. Look at him go! 20, 10, 5, touchdown Pirates!
There's local politics, bud.
It's showtime!
The fans have been asking. We've said this is the people's show forever. Let's welcome in East Carolina Hall of Famer Jeff Blake.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate you.
Let's go. So we got to start with the Peach Bowl. We got to start with it. That you guys are like the standard of East Carolina football. From two quarterbacks who played here, that's all we ever heard. Growing up in Greenville, that's all I ever heard. I promise you, my dad was talking about it 24/7. So just talk about that year and how special it was, of a year for you guys.
Okay, all right. I try to remember time ago, so. But no, for real, that was a very special year for us. We took it upon ourselves as players to take responsibility of our own team. And we realized it was our team, and the coaches did a great job of coaching us up, giving us good game plan, and we executed to the best of our ability. We had a lot of scrappy guys on that team, built that team of, a bunch of guys from Florida, Georgia, some guys from North Carolina, and the rest was walk-ons and JUCO transfers. So, but we came together as a unit. Once we started winning, man, it was like a drug to us, man. It's like we couldn't stop. We just wanted more and more and more, and we knew what it was going to take to make that happen, and we made it happen.
I couldn't imagine Greenville during that time. It was probably electric. Just talk about that and like the vibe around campus, because it had to be insane.
Yeah, it was. The stadium was packed. I mean, that pit game was so packed. I mean, there wasn't enough seats, really. People were standing around. During that time, there was the end zone was open.
Yep.
And then where you come out was open too. People would just stand around there. It was like a big open area, and all that stuff was packed. Now you can. It's like a viewing stage now, where you come over. The players come out.
Yep.
On the end of the stadium. Well, when I was in school, all that was open. You could actually see Ninjas Coliseum from the field. Yeah. So all that was open. So all that was packed. So it was a great atmosphere around campus, man. Every week we won. It just got bigger and bigger and bigger. We would land at the airport. It would be thousands of people at the airport greeting us back in. After we won, like when we beat Syracuse, it was a bunch of people that were waiting on us. When we beat Virginia Tech, it was a bunch of people that were waiting on us. So it was like that every week. And that just fed us and that fueled us to just continue to go out and do what we were doing each week.
There's no better feeling than the airport thing. I got to experience that a few times. We hadn't made a bowl game in a while, and close to a decade, Katie. And we finally clinched one. We came back to the airport, and it was probably my best memory other than winning the bowl game. You guys lost game one of that season, though. That's tough to start 0-1. You have big, lofty goals. You know how talented you are. How did you guys bounce back and, roll out 11 in a row like that? Like, how was the locker room after that first loss? Losing sucks. Week one and losing sucks even more. How did you guys, come together and lead that season and lead that streak of wins?
Well, we lost to Illinois, which is a Big Ten school, which, we never really played in the Big Ten conference schools when I was at East Carolina. We never played in the Big Ten schools. We had to play some SEC schools and some ACC schools, but never played a Big Ten school. And we felt like we fared very well against them. We lost 38-31, and we had an opportunity to come back at the end of that game and win it. So we felt like we were close, as a unit and as a team. And we felt like we can go in Champaign, Illinois, and almost pull out a victory with, to a Big Ten school. We felt like we had something special.
Shoot, well, you did. My senior year, we played state game one, and we lost on a heartbreak. We missed a field goal to win that game. And going into the locker room, like within 5 minutes of walking off the field, they were like, the Peach Bowl team lost their first game. And it was an eye opener to me because, like, losing, like I said, losing sucks in college football, but like losing such a close game week 1 when you have so high, lofty goals, it's just tough. It really is. Okay, what do you have?
Yeah, I think a big question for me was looking back at the years and all the statistics and records. When you first came in, I think you guys were like 3-8. Your sophomore year, 5-6, and 5-5. What was different? Me and Holton, we played on a couple 3-wins teams.
Ooh, yeah, we did.
And then obviously Holton's on 2 bowl teams. But curious, what changed for you guys from your freshman year to obviously your senior year when going to the Peach Bowl 11-1?
Well, my freshman year we played. We might have had the hardest schedule in the country because we played Miami, we played South Carolina, we played West Virginia, who were co-national champs that year. We played Syracuse, who was undefeated. We played Florida State as well, I think, that year. We played a lot of good teams back-to-back, and they were like 5 games back-to-back, so we got beat down. So that's one thing that didn't happen again. The second thing I felt like what turned our offense around was that my last 2 years I had the same offensive coordinator, Coach Logan, Steve Logan, where my freshman year, Kevin Gilbride was my offensive coordinator, which wound up going to the Houston Oilers and being a head coach in the NFL at San Diego and coached for a long time in the league. So I saw him several other times once I got to the NFL. And then Mark Richt, who y'all know was the head coach at Georgia for a long time. He was my offensive coordinator my sophomore year. And then, those 2 guys left. So being in 2 different styles of offense is totally different styles of offense. When you go from run and shoot offense to basically a I formation, So it was totally 2 different offenses, which I could run either one. It didn't matter. But not being in a consistent offense for 3 years really, takes a toll on the offense. But being in the offense 2 years in a row, I mean, shoot, we were hard to stop once we had opportunity to actually learn the offense and run it twice, 2 years in a row, and which we did my junior and sophomore year, Coach Logan.
Jeff, you're known for having one of the best deep balls. We tweeted your question. Someone was like, he had the best deep ball in NFL history. Who do you credit that to? Is that something you just had from a young age? Like, obviously arm strength is something I guess you can kind of work on, but some people are born with it, some people aren't. Like, who do you credit that to, and at what age did you realize, like, man, I can sling this thing?
I always knew I could throw the ball far, but I learned how to master it a little bit when I was in college. Understanding actually how to throw a deep ball and not just chunk the ball down the field, if you know what I mean. Actually complete the ball. So a lot of guys are taught to throw the ball to a spot. Well, I don't teach my quarterbacks to throw it to a spot because we don't know if he's gonna get there or not. So
100%.
I teach the deep ball. My philosophy in teaching deep ball throws is a little bit different from a lot of other coaches. I want my quarterbacks to throw the ball. It depends on the distance of the throw. But if you're talking about a go ball, 35, 40, 50, 60-yard throw, you have to put some air in the ball. You have to drop the ball over his shoulder, intentionally drop it over his shoulder. Worst case scenario, my guy goes up, make a play, high points it, and the guy falls down.
Yeah.
He gets mossed or something. Or my guy slows down, bodies up, makes a play, catches it over the outside shoulder. If they know how to do that well enough. Or I hit him on stride. I never overthrow.
100%.
So finding the right trajectory when you throw the ball, launching it at that trajectory and following the ball to your target right over his shoulder is how I teach it. So I've never taught my guys to throw the ball to a spot. The only time you throw the ball to a spot is when you're in the red zone because it's short.
Yeah. Yep.
Where did you top out your deep ball at? 70. How far were you able to? At your prime, how far did you throw your deep ball?
I think quarterback challenge, I threw 76 one time.
What was yours?
Not 76.
One thing I got to ask you, Jeff, is I saw on Twitter, I'm not sure if it's true. I just got to ask you, so if I'm wrong here, just let me know. I'm a big fan of Dion and the Buffs. I bet him every week. I just love what he's doing there in Colorado. Someone said you trained Shedeur Sanders. Is that true?
Yeah, from 6th grade to 12th grade.
Dang.
Oh, wow. How early did you know that he was, what he is, so special as a college quarterback today?
Well, it took me about 2 years to get his throwing motion right, about a year and a half. Once we got his throwing motion right, and probably around his ninth grade year, he just took off from there. I mean, I would go to Dallas. I would go to his dad's house, and we would train. You could probably put some of that stuff up, some old overtime film. We did a lot of stuff on overtime. If you do YouTube Shedeur Sanders, Jeff Blake, overtime, you'll see a lot of that stuff.
Dang, how cool is it seeing him now? He's a star now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very proud of him. I text Dion right after the game, and actually not after the game because I know a lot of people will be texting. I texted him, and I told him, "Hey, man, congratulations! I'm proud of Shedeur. You guys are doing the thing." And I always reach out to him. I'm the type of guy, I don't ever ask for much or anything like that. I just like to see guys do good and see them work hard and see all their dreams come true. But yeah, I trained Shedeur for about 5 or 6 years there.
That's awesome. His dreams are coming true. I mean, he's balling right now. I want to get your opinion on something. So, growing up, especially in college camp now, we'll see the old heads and they'll all be like, "You guys didn't have camp like we did. We had 2-a-days." What are some camp stories that you can tell the fans just about your time at ECU?
Man, that winter conditioning. Oh my God. I mean, we had some winter conditioning, man, that was out of this world. Guys throwing up, running through Minges Coliseum for 2 hours, seemed like nonstop. It was. I mean, our training camps were brutal back then, man. I mean, we had pads on morning practice and afternoon practice. It wasn't no shells, no such thing as shells. None of that stuff, man. It's just the way it was. Those were the times, Those were the times, Like I said, that winter conditioning one year, I want to say it was the winter conditioning going into my senior year. Bill Lewis had us in there, man, and man, I swear that was some of the toughest workouts that I had ever been through. But it paid off though. That's one thing that we were my senior year was we were in shape and we were freaking physical. One thing the people would say about East Carolina, and probably the same thing when you played, was that, hey, when you play them, you might beat them, but you're gonna be beat the hell up when you finish playing. So we had a reputation of being real physical back then.
Heck yeah! No, that was growing up, and now our head coach, Coach Houston, he grew up in North Carolina at that times, and like when he came here, that's all he preached was like, back in the '90s. They were fast, they were physical, and they would hit you in the mouth, and that's what we're getting back to. And I'm like, all right, man. So hopefully we do this year. But okay, what do you got for him?
Yeah, speaking like staying there, kind of, back in those days, one person asked, recruiting's changed so much since the late '80s, early '90s. They were curious what brought you to ECU. One, and then second, if NIL was around. If we brought NIL back to the late '80s, early '90s, do you see that steering you away from ECU potentially to maybe a different school?
Well, believe it or not, East Carolina was the only Division I school that recruited me to play quarterback.
Dang.
Wow.
So, I mean, times were different back then, man.
Yeah.
Times were different back then, I mean, when I got in the league, I was when I starting in the league in '94, it was just only 3 of us starting.
Dang.
3 black quarterbacks started. Me, Randall, and Warren Moon. That was it. And then other guys like in the league, but they weren't playing, like Rodney Peete.
Yep.
Andre Ware. You had some guys that's in the league and spot playing, but like starters. It wasn't a lot. And you had a couple of backups in the league at that time, and then guys started trickling in every year. Then Cordell Stewart came in. Then Steve McNair came in. Then Michael Vick came in, and in 1999 they drafted a bunch of black quarterbacks: Donovan McNabb, Dante Culpepper, Keely Smith. All those guys came in '99. So, and then you start seeing more of a flux of black quarterbacks in the league after '99, going in that 2000 season.
It's a great call out. I think honestly, a lot of us forget, how, in the '90s there wasn't many, African American quarterbacks. how was that, breaking into playing quarterback as, an African American? That's a good call out. That's something a lot of us forget about.
I know one of your questions was, how did I get to East Carolina? One, East Carolina is the only Division I school that recruited me. Two, East Carolina had a history of playing black quarterbacks, which made me very comfortable. Because Travis Hunter was here before I got here, and in the 70s they had a black quarterback. So they had a history of having black quarterbacks, which made me comfortable. Two, one of my dads, my dad was my football coach at my high school, and at my high school we had two guys that was from the area from my high school that with East Carolina prior in the early 80s. Reggie Branch, who played at Redskins, and his cousin, Tony Collins.
Oh, yeah. Tony Collins.
Yeah. So Reggie Branch and Tony Collins are cousins.
Okay, I did not know that.
And Reggie is from my high school. I think Tony played at a different spot, but a different place. But Reggie is from my hometown. So when I came on my visit, he was like, look, man, you're going to really enjoy East Carolina and blah, 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 blah. And which I did. I had a good time. And then, like I said, they were the only Division I school that actually recruited me. And if it was East Carolina, I'd probably been at HBCU.
This podcast is brought to you by Anson Belts. Over 10,000 combinations of micro-adjustable holeless belts. We've told you before, once you get an Anson belt, you're not going to wear a normal one. Mix and match the combos too, Caden. The buckle, the belt, everything in between. Go check it out. Game day belts too. Saturdays, they got the Jolly Roger logo right in the middle of the official belt of the East Carolina Pirates. Next, we want to give a shout out to Clean Eats. If you're trying to eat clean, you're trying to slim down, look, don't get pudgy in the fall and the winter. We all kind of do. Let's go to Clean Eats. Let's stay fit this fall and this winter. Most of their meals are under $8. They have pre-made meals, frozen meals if you want to take home, or if you want to meal prep, they got that too. Caden, what is your favorite part about them?
My favorite part is how good the meals are. I hate cooking. It sucks about not cooking, eating fast food. It makes you feel crappy. You know what I do? I swing on by Arlington Village and Red Banks Road, and I get myself a high-quality, healthy meal. Check them out.
Let's go. Clean Eats, appreciate you for supporting the pod. Does the name Kerry Joseph ring a bell to you?
Yes, it is. I played with Kerry.
Yeah, so he was my I was in Seattle last year, and he was the assistant quarterbacks coach in Seattle. He would always talk about you. That's a small world, man.
Yeah, Kerry was one of my backups in Cincinnati. He wound up changing position.
Yeah.
Safety. Wow.
Yeah, he's the quarterback coach for the Chicago Bears now for Caleb Williams. He's working his way up quickly.
I saw him on Hard Knocks.
Yeah. No, good dude though, for real. And then, crazy enough, a coach that coached you also coached me, Steve Shankweiler.
Yeah, Shank, yeah.
I was like, that is insane, because I was texting back and forth with him, and my dad, he was like, my dad told me, he was like, I'm pretty sure Shank coached on the Peach Bowl team. And I was like, I gotta call Shank and ask him that. And he said you guys have stayed in touch over the years.
Yeah. Because he had come through East Carolina recruiting players as well, so we stayed in touch. And I call him all the time, trying to get. Actually, we had one of our guys, our national guys, just committed to East Carolina, and one of the quarterbacks I've been training since he was, I'm on 7th grade now. Since 7th grade, his name is Chasten Ditter. He just committed to East Carolina as quarterback.
Let's go. Keep the pipeline going, Caden. What do you got?
Yeah. I know this year we're honoring the Peach Bowl team. Is Pirate Nation going to see you back in Greenville this fall?
I'm trying to get back, man. I was trying to get back for homecoming this year. I'm right. This year, I'm only just training. I'm the director for the quarterback academy at IMG. So nice. I'm just really working with the quarterbacks. I'm not really coaching on the team, but I do a lot of consulting with the varsity team right now. So, so I will go to their games and stuff like that. Sometimes I'm in the booth, being the eye in the sky for some of the coaches and telling them what I see for his coverages, fronts. They're doing some analysis when they're blitzing and all that kind of stuff. So, and charting some stuff for them, but. Other than that, man, I have my weekends a little bit more open, so I can get down to Greenville and get to some games.
Nice. What games are you eyeing on this year that you might potentially come back to? Do you know any?
I look at the schedule because make sure that it times up with what I got going on here.
Well, let Pirate Nation know. I think everyone wants to know when one of the greatest of all times are coming back. I think the fans will be more than fired up. You know what I mean?
For sure. Jeff, you're a legend here, and you had a lot of great times. Obviously, the Peach Bowl's, a big one. What was your favorite memory as a Pirate, and then I want to hear what was your favorite memory, as an NFL quarterback as well.
My favorite memory as a Pirate was just the camaraderie we had as a team. I mean, we had a very close-knit team. I mean, we still all text each other on Facebook and stuff today. We have our own Facebook thing, 91 Pirates, boom, 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 football team. And, we post, we know when guys pass away, like, I don't know if you remember Ernie Sackman.
Yep.
He was my roommate. He was from my hometown. We went to East Carolina together. He passed away a couple of years ago. Some of the guys came down. Some of the older guys, even the guys that was there when I got to East Carolina, came to his funeral. That's from the Florida area. Back then, we had a lot of guys from Florida on our team. In Florida and Georgia area, so a lot of them came to his funeral. But I think the biggest thing I miss from East Carolina is the camaraderie, and my teammates and the fun we had together and the memory we built. I mean, we had a lot of fun. It was fun time, to be in college during that time. It was a lot of fun. I think one of the biggest memories of me in the NFL, I think, is my first NFL start, which was actually against my brother-in-law, Robert Jones, who was at East Carolina with me as well.
Yep.
And he was at the Cowboys, and I sauced him up in the first half for like 2 seconds. We wound up losing that game 30-27, but, I think that's something I always remember.
For sure. Caden, you got one more question? We'll let him go.
Yeah, one more before we let you go. I earlier you mentioned working as the quarterback director at IMG. What other quarterback coaches out there? I feel like I see so many great quarterback coaches on Instagram these days and social media. What are some of the other quarterback coaches out there that you talk to a lot or look up to their work as well?
Coach Ron Ville out of Atlanta. I don't know if you know him. He started off with Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, and those guys.
Oh, wow.
Juju, the kid from Carrollton that's going to USC.
Yep.
That's one of his kids. He had a lot of good kids. He's a really good trainer out of Atlanta. Another guy named Raymond Ramon out of South Carolina. He's a really good trainer. He's had a lot of good guys too come through him too out of that South Carolina area. He started off with what's your boy in Cleveland that was at Houston, Deshaun Watson. Yeah, so he had all those kids when they were younger. Deshaun Watson, a lot of those kids that's coming out of that South Carolina, South Georgia area. In Northern Georgia, South Carolina area. He had a lot of those kids. So, but yeah, you got some really good guys that's out there that's doing the right thing and really teaching the kids not just mechanics, but actually how to play the game. So I'm a big philosophy guy when I train. And I just don't go through footwork and drills. I actually put guys on the board, teach them how to teach them protections, how to read, how to pre-snap, how to post-snap, how to execute, how to actually play the game, what to look for before you snap the ball, reading numbers, working away from rotation, understanding man rules, quarter rules, how it all works, So I'm really big on that. So I don't just train, I coach and I teach as well how to actually play the game and how the chessboard works.
I love that. You can throw it all you want to, but if you don't know how to protect yourself or get the ball on the right guys, then you're screwed.
Yeah.
What would be? You go ahead.
Footwork and throw. So.
Yeah. No, 100%. If you had one message to Pirate Nation, what would it be? We're just going to play that. For Pirate Nation, what would your message be to Pirate Nation?
Believe. That's the only thing. When I was at East Carolina, the belief system. You got to want it. The fans has to want it. The cafeteria lady got to want it. Everybody got to expect to win, not just the players, not just the coaches. It's the expectation of the whole environment. And when the whole environment expects you to win, we're gonna win. I ain't talking about we hope we win, that we expect to win. You have to believe that.
I love it. Appreciate you for joining, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
For sure. I'll see you next time. This podcast is brought to you by Worth Chiropractic, 2 convenient locations on Arlington Boulevard. Call 1-800-BACK-DOC for any normal back and neck pain, or if you're an athlete and you need to get your back fixed, your neck cracked, they're the ones to call. Worth Chiropractic, 1-800-BACK-DOC. Next, I want to give a shout out to Wayne Hardy Law, 1-800-INJURED, personal lawyer, personal injury lawyer. If you've been in a car accident, you're a popular person, make sure you make the call to Wayne Hardy Law. They'll treat you like family. That's the Wayne Hardy difference. Last but not least, Mad Mesquite Goose Club. We say it every week. We're huge fans of them, and you guys are too. Every time we give stuff away from them, it goes out like hotcakes, baby. Caden, what's your favorite thing from Mad Mesquite Goose Club?
You know, it's going to sound weird. I really like their different varieties of college t-shirts. College football's back. Not everyone's a Pirate fan, so if you need a gift for someone who's not a Pirate fan, they have all the different gear of all the North Carolina, South Carolina schools, even venturing off into Tennessee, I think.
Yeah. Shout out to Mad Mesquite Goose Club. And you talk about the college ones. It's $2 cheaper if you want to get any other college other than ECU. No, I'm just kidding. It's not that. But go check out Mad Mesquite Goose Club. I appreciate you guys for supporting the pod. Arcade, in week 1 has came and gone. What were your 3 takeaways or 2 takeaways? Just what were your takeaways in general of week 1 of the Pirates? Then I'll get to mine. I was pretty excited. So what were yours?
1, speed. We were all questioning, hey, John David Baker has never caught a college game before. He was moving so quick and so fast and so efficiently. I'm super excited to watch that. I think everyone that I've seen on Twitter, online, video-wise, was just blown away how fast we were moving. 2 is just the offense was exciting to watch. That's all you wanted. Speed and exciting to watch, taking shots downfield. The interceptions don't concern me one bit. I think they'll get it cleaned up. And then thirdly, special teams. That's been something that ECU hasn't been that efficient at in years. And I really, really have a strong feeling that we might take back a kick this year. Not only a kick, but also a punt.
Shoot, I hope so. My takeaways were we got a quarterback that can sling it. One thing that worries me a little bit, though, was he was real streaky. When he was good, he was good. When he was bad, he threw 3 picks in a quarter, at least a half. I'm kind of joking there. It doesn't worry me too much. But we do got to limit those turnovers. That's my biggest thing coming out of it. FCS school, we're going to beat them no matter what. What were the takeaways for me? Going into it, I said, let's see how the O-line plays. Was the protection great? It wasn't great, but he only got sacked 1 time. I would like that number to be 0, but I understand some stuff happens sometimes. Me and you talked about it. I got into it in the film session I released on Twitter. We missed a couple Mike IDs in the pass pro that got Garcia hit. When we play these better teams, you got to get that fixed.
Yeah, I think that's something, hopefully they look at in the film room like, hey, remember, you got to recall these. One other big call out that I didn't mention was that center snaps was so off. It was so off that it might even be the fault from those turnovers down in the goal, the goal line. You got to get that. You got to get that right. In high school, I had that issue with one of my centers. It pissed me off. It really did. I hated it because I'm trying to focus on once you catch the ball, where everyone's at. So that made me upset. And then lastly, if we fix those turnovers, we really probably should have scored 63 points that game. So I'm excited to see that.
One thing about the snaps is that is also huge in the RPO. The RPO world, the snaps, you got to be on time. If you're late, you're going to throw picks. If you're late, you're going to hold the ball. There's going to be linemen downfield, which we saw later in the game on a touchdown too. So that is something that seems minor. It is not minor at all. That is massive in this offense in the new world of college football. RPO, which is run pass option. It has to be fixed, and I would expect it to be fixed game 2 because I'm sure all week, like I said, Dustin Hall, the center's all he's hearing is fix those snaps, and the offense is all they're hearing is fix the turnovers.
Yeah, then the like you said, being late in the RPO.
Yeah.
What's even worse, if that quarterback has to jump to the left, jump to the right, and then bring it down to at least show the ball fake or at least try to hand it off, that timing there could be totally messed up. You could fumble it, a loss of down. So I hope Dustin Hall comes back. I hope if he needs to change his grip, because I know that's a big thing. But other than that, I'm pretty excited for the Pirates. We have some steep competition this week with Old Dominion, but I don't think it's too steep. I think if we come in focused, I think if we really make sure that we play physical, because Old Dominion, I watched them, they are physical in the trenches. So I'm not scared of the defense. Offense has to come physical. But I think we come physical, clean up a little bit. I think we have a really good chance of winning this ball game. Really good chance. I'm excited to watch it.
Well, it'll be a good environment. We played there 2019. It's a really good environment. They packed the house. I'd imagine ECU fans travel well. We've said it all offseason. This is a sneaky game to see how good our season's really going to be. These next 3-4 games are huge for the Pirates. They are really physical, and that's what it's going to come down to. Defense, we should win that battle. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. They're an up-tempo offense. If our defense doesn't win the battle, we have bigger fish to fry. We have bigger issues. So let's just mark that off as the defense is going to win that battle. The biggest worry is offense. This is our biggest test to this point. They look good, but they look good versus a bad FCS school. Let's be honest. They went out there and did what they should have done. This is the first test. Live bullets flying, good defense, at least a physical defense, a team that went to a bowl game last year in a hostile environment. How does Jake Garcia perform? Look, 3 picks versus FCS ain't good. Does he learn from it? How does he play from there? Those are my biggest things. Caden, what are your keys to victory this week?
Yeah, it's going to be really hostile. I know Old Dominion had a streak for the longest time of consecutive sellouts. So if he was rattled at all in the beginning of the game last week, this week's not going to be any different there. I think another big key is their offense made mistakes against South Carolina. Their quarterback had some key fumbles. They had a field goal blocked that really changed their game as well. So I think, key is obviously defense. Our defense is our rock. It's our core. And just cleaning up turnovers. I really think that's all we really need to do. If we can keep Old Dominion to making mistakes like they did last week for the reason they lost to South Carolina, and we have a coaching staff, I'm believing in the coaching staff, we fix ours and we can bounce back. I really think we have this conversation next week, and we're all excited that the Pirates are 2-0. And then we have to look at each other and say, are the Pirates back?
Are the Pirates back, and is there a path to the playoff? I know I'm getting way too excited.
Let's do it.
But is there a path to the playoff? If we win this week, App State has Clemson. You hope that game's at least close. Clemson's brutal, but I still think they'll beat App State. Liberty didn't look that good. UTSA didn't look that good. There's these next stretch of games where you're saying, okay,
yeah,
a month from now, is there a conversation of can ECU make the playoff? And that seriously is we dodge all the American schools, and the American doesn't even look that good.
No. So if we are back next week we do the job this week, the conversation's there. Liberty struggled against Campbell. Come on, we don't even have to have a conversation on Campbell. App, that's probably gonna be the hardest game. I think it totally is gonna be App State, and then the American, it's bad. It's so bad this year. Honestly, the 2 teams that have any light of day is, I think, 3 teams. I'll walk back. 3 teams, obviously, Tulane, Memphis. The 3rd team is FAU, which we do play. Those are the 3 hardest teams.
UTSA. I think UTSA.
Well, UTSA struggled against
Kennesaw State.
Kennesaw State, and Kennesaw State's the newest team in FBS. I'm really excited. I really think there is a path to the playoffs. Listen to this. My girlfriend Haley was so fired up, and she believes that the Pirates are back already. Before I am hesitant to say it. She believes they're back. She placed a plus 2,000 bet, $300 on a plus 2,000 bet odds, to win over $6,000 for the ECU to win the American Conference Championship. I think that was a good value bet. I was shocked because I was just reading them. She's like, place that bet for me. I was like, no way. She's like, no, I'm serious. Sends me $300. We placed it, so she's riding. And then I was like, that's a really good bet.
Did you place it?
Yeah, she's placed it. I can show you the bet slip.
I took them over 6.5. I took the Pirates over 6.5 wins at the beginning of the season. I think that looks gold. After week 4, we do not have a game versus a team who had a winning record the previous season after week 4.
We just gotta survive. We can do it.
Yeah,
we gotta survive.
Come on, there's a path to the playoff. We believe. Let's go.
Let's talk about college football season, though. College football season. Let's talk about college
week 1.
Week 1, yeah. There were a lot of good games. Who was your biggest winner of the weeks, and who were your biggest losers?
Biggest winner of the week. I'll start off with biggest loser of the week is Florida State and Clemson fans. Clemson fans, look, Dabo's being hard-headed. You don't go get transfers. This is a new world. You see it everywhere. Transfer portal, NIL. You got to do it. I don't care if you're getting 5 stars or not. But also, Dabo whiffs. It's kind of bad luck. Dabo whiffs on 2 number 1 overall recruits at quarterback, DJ Uyunglele and Cade Klubnik, they both have just been atrocious. Dabo won 11 games, I believe, with DJ Uiagalelei or whatever his name is. That's impressive now that you look at it, because he is not doing well anywhere else. And then Florida State, I just said it. Florida State fans, man, they were, we should have made the playoff. We should have made. You're 0-2. That's tough. And then my biggest winner of the weekend, I said it in my best bet segment. Look, 4-0 kind of went to my viral cadence. I don't know. 4-0, follow that whole Ayla show. I'll release them on Friday. Cam Ward and the U. I said it. NIL and the U just work good together. They were doing it in the 90s and the 80s back in the day when they were really, really well. Shocker. They have NIL back, and guess what? The U is back. It's time to say it. They have a Heisman Trophy candidate, I think, at quarterback. So that's my winner of week 1.
Yeah, my losers for week 1. 3 teams in the ACC. Florida State. Let me check the notes. Clemson. Let me check the notes again. Virginia Tech losing to Vandy, one of the worst all-time at Power 5 FBS teams. I think the ACC is down. I might just chalk up all of ACC for the loser of the week. Winner, though, which my winner of the week might just cakewalk the ACC. We have the same one. Miami, huge winner of the week. And then another winner of the week is BC. Like, I know BC, they haven't won more than 8 games in over 15 years, I read. Like, that's insane. And for them to actually go down to Tallahassee, a very hostile place to play, and get that win with Bill O'Brien. I mean, that's just you like to see a program get a top 10 win, even though I think we're seeing Florida State should never been ranked in the top 10. But favorite players to watch this weekend, transferring to there, off that segment, I just made me think of this, is Miller Moss. He's pretty
baller.
LSU's. I always struggle with his last name.
Nussmeier.
And then I think the Heisman of the year for me, and I would place the bet, but I don't think the odds are that great right now, so I'll have to go check afterwards. Cam Ward. Cam Ward, I think, is the best player in all of college football.
People. I tried to warn them.
I watched that Florida game, half of it, and just watching him, you could tell, like, this guy shouldn't be here.
He's got the swagger.
This guy's too good. He has the swagger. He has the confidence. He does make a couple, like, boneheaded plays from time to time, but I think anyone does when you believe in yourself to a certain extent. You're like, okay, I can make this play. But he was just toying with those guys out there. He was like hitting that little coast, but he was like coasting where it didn't even matter. I think Cam Ward's going to win the Heisman. And then outside that, I actually think Cam Ward might be more fun to watch than Travis Hunter. Hot take.
I'm not going to say I said
I'm a quarterback, though.
I'm not going to say I said that he was going to win the Heisman and the U was back, but I said it before week 1. We're going to clip that forever, Caden. Why didn't you say that in your best bets? Why didn't you just tail my bets? That's what you should have done, man. Come on.
I don't know. How did you do there in your bets?
I was 4-0.
Yeah.
I was 4-0, and it, not going to lie, it's worrying me a little bit because now it's like people are going back and they're like, wow, this guy actually knows who he's talking about. It has like 20,000 views on Twitter, and they're like, I'm tailing him next week. So I'm sweating big time right now, going in the lab trying to dissect defenses and see who I should take in week 2.
You better do your homework. I hope you don't pick any of mine. I went one win, 1 push, and 2 losses. But my 2 losses, it was Colorado not covering against North Dakota State, which North Dakota State scored in the last 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And then I had a bad beat. I had TCU minus 8.5. Freaking Stanford kicks a field goal so they can do an onside kick, and TCU wins by 7. And that happened in the last like 40 seconds of the game. So really bad beat for me. But
all right, let's try a new segment here. We're going to try it, and then we're going to end the show. What will ECU fans be talking about? What will be the storylines next week as we sit here filming after week 2, after the ODU game? What do you think the storylines will be as an ECU fan from this ECU team?
Are the Pirates back? Question mark. Pirates go 2-0 versus App State.
That's your story.
Hold on, let me reword that. Are the Pirates back? Question mark. 2-0 to 3-0. Okay, I'm not good with the headlines, but are the Pirates back?
So you think they'll go in there and win?
2-0, and then we get App State at home. I think Greenville will be electric in 2 weeks.
Will be. Score prediction, ODU.
I think our defense is too good for Old Dominion to score more than 21 points on. And I think our offense is going to make corrections. Hopefully the center can correct his mistakes. That's a big part of it. And then obviously Jake Garcia. No matter how bad he has some moxie. He has some moxie. He was confident. So I think we come back 35-21, and I'm only saying 21 because I think it's the max our defense is going to give. I hope they do better than that, but 35-21 ECU.
I like it. My storyline next week, let's start off with a prediction. I'm going to take East Carolina 27, ODU 13. I think, look, our offense I'm very excited about. I think it's going to be an up-tempo game a little bit. It can be a lot of 3-and-outs. They run a lot of up-tempo stuff too. I think our defense is really, really good. I think our offense has a chance to be really, really good. I think we may score more than that, but I'm just sticking to 27. Just because, look, they held South Carolina. Look, South Carolina might not be the best team. They still got talent. That's one thing. They got SEC talent. This ODU team is going to be good. I'm taking East Carolina 27, ODU 13. The Pirates go 2-0.
Storyline for next week.
Can they make it 3-0 and push to the playoff if there's a path? Because then if they're 3-0, Liberty's 3-0, talking about a huge G5 matchup with playoff implications. When was the last time ECU had a game with playoff implications?
Yeah, never. So it'd be exciting. Game day in Lynchburg?
That would be pretty sweet. I don't know if there's any other games. Week 3, there's got to be.
There has to be. College game day is like G5 playoff implications.
But no, it really does. I mean, that game, if we're 3-0 and we beat App, like that really does have playoff implications. That'd be our last hard game, UTSA. The next week, will be a hard one. But the big storylines are, these next 3 weeks for ECU. So that's what I'm looking at most.
Yeah, I would say 4 weeks, because after week 4, no one has a winning record from last year. So really excited.
Or no, week 5. UTSA is week 5. Yeah,
my bad. But no, I think we have a really, really fun season on our hands, and we'll see after this week.
We'll see. Keep supporting the pod. The boys are growing. The pod's growing. Social media, follow us at Holt Ayler Show. We post stuff all the time. It's pretty sick. You got to check out the film. You got to check out the best bets. Monday morning quarterback, 5th quarter call and showcase. We got everything going on, man.
We have a good time. So if you don't like the podcast or want to mix up from the podcast, hey, check out Holton's film room. If you want something a little bit more, a little bit spicy, check out our best bets. And if you just want to bring it all together after the game, 5th quarter call and show, if you love me and Holton's voice that much.
And look, even if you don't, everyone likes free money, so just check out the best bets. I was 4-0 last week. We'll see you next week.